son. I'm a survivor. I will survive. I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever shine. Just to stay alive. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me apart. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can tell me sick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me apart. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. Strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. Everybody strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Not when you're old. Your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, not when you're old. Everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'm a go-getter. I just go hard. I just go hard. And I'm a kind of fellow. Nobody control me sick.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Quick and easy, grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be firm in this time, son. You gotta be strong in this time, son.
Hey, Ride Along family, welcome to the ride. Welcome to Monday on the ride, a public holiday in the Caribbean today. Yeah, man. A lot of people are not doing much today, having a lazy day. It's a public holiday. But we got to work, right? We got to work. Holiday or no holiday. Can't stop the show anyway. All right? Rain can't stop the jam. And I have a question. Lydia James, you can't be one person. Nah. Lydia James, you can't be one person. Or there is two Lydia James on Facebook. Before I came on the program, I took a look over to Earl Maitland, my homeboy, Earl Maitland program, right? And guess what's over there? Lydia James. And Ride Along start, and then we have another Lydia. Now we have two Lydia James in this world. I'm convinced. Lydia James, what's going on? Lydia James, you are everywhere. Wow. Happy to have you, by the way. How you doing? Big up yourself. Favor King, big up yourself. Just share the thing and say, I share. Patricia Cornwall says she was packing a barrel. And she had to stop pack the barrel. I appreciate that, Patricia Cornwall. Yeah, man. Wow. Lydia, no. Lydia, you're not one person. Lydia, this is not real. Lydia is everywhere. Lydia, are you here? Are you in the car too? Lydia is somewhere in the car. I swear Lydia is here. Guys, as you come and go ahead and share the program right now, put it on a page and say, I share. Share it, put it on a page and say, I share, as I'm doing right now. Nikisha, big up yourself. Thank you so much. I'm sharing. And listen. I find all little get really thing with the share. Like all little want to share the program, all little want to share me at all. Or they share the program and say, I share. Don't get lazy with the share. We take a lot of time to put together a program every week, right? Every day. And we just want a little share. That is it. All you have to do is share. All you have to do is share the thing. Lacey J, how you doing? Lacey J, could you confirm this for me? Is Lydia James one person? Jackie Chaiton. Jackie Chaiton, how you doing? Make up yourself, Jackie. Guys, today we're talking about today I need you guys to talk back to me, right? I need you guys to talk back to me because something happened over the weekend. Yes, last week. And I was dying to do a program on Saturday or Sunday, you know. I was itching to do a program on Saturday and Sunday. But I say, you know what? I'll save it for Monday. But then I realized Monday's a holiday, so probably I want to save it for Tuesday. So, nah. I'll do it on Monday. I'll tell all you what we're talking about just now. Monique Philip, how you doing, Monique? Big up yourself. G.A. Ruffin, how you doing? Yeah, Canada. I feel your pain, guys. I feel the pain in Canada because you guys are on lockdown, right? You guys are on lockdown. And I feel bad about this because I oftentimes drive to Canada and I haven't been to Canada for a good little bit. You know, we had a brunch in Canada just the other day. I can't even do it now. Nevertheless, we are having a ball of a time here in New York because the governor just announced that over 60% of the adult population here in the U.S. is fully vaccinated. About 50-60%, which is good news. So things are kind of gradually getting back to normal. And say what all you want about the vaccine, right? People say you will do that to you and you do this to you. But I have personally tested this thing out myself. I am fully vaccinated and I go everywhere just for the test purposes. Most time I don't even wear a mask. And just for test purposes, I'm good. So I've been to a party this weekend. I've been to 2 parties this weekend. Yeah, I've been to 2 parties this weekend. And I'm good. And all of my close friends, by the way, are fully vaccinated as well. And they're good. So yeah, I had a good little wine. And seeing that I ain't wine for a long time, I bust a serious wine for everybody. For the months and so I ain't bust a wine. I behave real bad. Lacey, Lois JJ, who else we have? Yeah, hey. Kevin Maras, how you doing? All right. So guys, let's get into it, right? Let's get into it. Because today, which vaccine did you take, Junior? I took the Pfizer. I took the 2-dose Pfizer. I did it like about 2 months ago. Yeah, I did it about two months ago. And I'm fine. And all of my close friends, everyone on staff, I believe, have the vaccine as well. Elimas Gilbert, the inspector. Yeah, Elimas Gilbert is fully vaccinated too. Yeah. So that's why you see New York gradually opening and we partying. And listen, I have a boat ride coming up. Too. And we good. Rochelle John, how you doing? Big up yourself. Trinidad, I feel it for you. I feel it for the folks in Trinidad and Tobago. I feel it. Trust me, as man. That does not stop me and my family here in Canada. We had COVID, no vaccine, and I'm fine. Yeah. I feel it for you guys. Okay, guys, let me talk about what we're gonna talk about today. Because in Grenada, I know it's a holiday today. In St. Vincent, I think most of the Caribbean islands have a holiday today. And some places they are staying indoors. Although it's a holiday, it's a lockdown holiday. Hey, Andrea, fully vaccinated? Nice. Yeah, Trinidad, you have it bad there. I'm very sorry about that, guys. I'm really very sorry for what happened in Trinidad. I'm hearing a lot of people dying and people getting sick and hospital filling up. Sad. All right, guys, let me start. I want to start this because I want to dedicate a lot of time to talking about this topic, right? So over the weekend, Friday, there was a, but even before Friday, let's go back a little bit. Let me bring everything into context, right? Let me pull up the press release that preempted this conversation right here. All right. Let me bring it up. No, not this one. Let me go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. I'm gonna bring everything into context. All right. This is the first thing. Grenada ambassador resigned amidst concern of crisis in governance. Carib Update wrote this, that the Grenada Miami-based ambassador at large abruptly resigned Thursday, saying that he no longer served the government of Grenada in good conscience. He said in a damning resignation letter, Warren Newfield even suggested that the current Keith Mitchell administration may no longer have the interests of Grenada at heart. Newfield, who has been the post of for the most of 6 years as the consul general of Grenada to Miami. In this resignation letter, Newfield wrote, "Unfortunately, conditions in Grenada have changed drastically in the past few years. The country's leadership previously have the country's best interests at heart, which welcoming to foreign investment and economic development, but has been transformed to an anti-business regime." Press release went on to state a bunch of other things. Now, the full press release is available on RIdealoang page, right? So this was in the blogosphere from last week. Now, on Friday, in the cabinet briefing, the Prime Minister responded to that very public resignation letter, right? Also, let me say this before we go any further, that we did get in touch with Mr. Newfield. We spoke with him and his people, and they are making preparation to come and share their exclusive story right here on RIdealoang in the coming days. So that would be an exclusive. And he, as far as what they're saying, they're willing to talk about everything. Nothing is off limit for conversation purposes. So look out for that. That's coming up sometime this week. So I want to play a clip from the Prime Minister respond to Newfield resignation. All right, check this out. This is the Prime Minister respond to the resignation letter. All right, and then we'll bring in Janice and we'll talk about it. This is the Prime Minister.
The fact is, this developer was a member of the diplomatic community as given by the government until his resignation. And it made it even more important to ensure that his actions were in keeping with the laws of the country. In other words, he has a bigger responsibility. So if our efforts to ensure compliance with the laws of the land makes us anti-business and anti-investor, I am proud. But let me say this further, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman when we found out that the monies that he was collecting from the CBI, didn't correlate with the construction activities on the ground, we asked for explanation. You know what the gentleman did? He called a couple of investors trying to get them, Mr. Speaker, to behave like him so that he would not be the one doing it. In one investor called us and said, "Why is this man calling us?" He did it again a second time, Mr. Speaker. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs can bear me out. I called a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and he went together with one of his workers or investors and said to him that as a person representing the country, you may have an interest in your investment and you have a right to, but your behavior is inconsistent with with that sort of representation. And I said to him, and the Minister for Foreign Affairs will remember, I said, I'm sure you're aware of something called baseball. 1 strike, 2 strikes. The 3rd strike, what? You're out. So this resignation, you see them, Mr. Speaker, is because he knows that he was out because he did it a 3rd time. So what they say in our local parlance? Take in front before in front take you. I know there's some of us here would love to take what he said and run with it. I love that. I want to see who brave Grenadian, who is so anti-Grenada, who so love people that don't necessarily look like themselves, would come and tell us that we treated this gentleman unfairly. And look what he said. Mr. Speaker, I say this. We, in addition to making sure that people who get our citizenship, and we are proud of the program, because it has brought us a lot, we added an additional condition in the laws that you have to ensure that 20% of the investment must be your input in the project. In other words, you can't just walk into the country and say you want to be in CBI program and you're a papa, you have nothing. So, well, any one of us could be a CBI applicant. Why couldn't Dummy James be one? Why not? You don't have to come with nothing. You don't even have to come with clothes. Just come. And you just get some bright fellow, capable marketer to market and put some big title behind you and go around and get some application, get the citizenship, and the project is all funded by the country's application. So we said 20% must come from your investment. And several of the investors have, in fact, met that. Some of them had difficulties with their amount, but we say 20%. You got to put something down. So, Mr. Speaker, the gentleman, because he couldn't get the application, he did put down his 20%. But later on, he said, he has to recoup the 20% from CBI application. Well, that means the same thing. That means you are putting nothing. That means you're putting nothing. So he decided he's not doing this. So we said, and I think that was really that drove him to that desperation. Because I don't know what he needed. Because if your construction cost, as the engineer pointed out, is $30-something million, and you collected over $50-something million already, you still want another $40-something million in our application? I mean, I don't understand. That is what brought the whole thing down, Mr. Speaker. So we said, no, we're not going to give you that large excess of money. What are you doing with it? Is nothing not being brought in Grenada to invest in the development of the country? That is what brought on this hostility. So, Mr. Speaker, I felt it was necessary to give the Parliament, and by implication, the nation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He wrote him resigning his position, but he's still an investor. He's now trying to sell his investment. Well, I don't know how smart that man could be. You still have investment on the ground because some investors, you owe them because you have accepted their money. And you want to sell, but you you got into this big public spot with the government, and they almost have, in fact, saying that the country must change. Imagine a white man coming and tell we must change the government of Grenada. Could you believe this character? If I was in the street, I'd say another word. He's telling us that we must change the government of the country, the leadership of the country. Not the people must do it. He's telling people what to do. The hostility, the anger tells you something. It's the same man that used to pretend to be so nice. And he loved the prime minister, he loved the country, they're so beautiful and people so nice. All of a sudden, he's telling people, almost telling people not to invest in Grenada. That's what he's telling people. He now hates not just me, not just members of the government, he hates the entire country because he's not able to do what he wants.
Lord have mercy. Janice,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
I am doing good.
You look nice.
Oh, thank you. You know what I realize about y'all? Y'all like me with hair.
No, we like you with or without hair.
No, y'all like me with hair.
No, it doesn't matter. You look nice. Inside out, you're a nice person.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But y'all like me with hair.
Janice, think about how I go look without hair, Janice. Just envision it.
Yeah, it's different.
Ah.
It's different. Different being the operative.
It doesn't change me. It doesn't change me. I am me. I'm just different. It takes getting used to. But you look good. I was getting used to you without hair.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I was getting used to me without hair. But my cousin dared me to wear this.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she did.
It doesn't matter. Hair doesn't make the person.
Makeda dared me to wear a wig, so I like it. I like the bald head and the story it tells. I like this.
That's good. That's good.
We rock whatever we need to rock.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, listen, Janice, let's talk, right? Because this has been a topical issue. This thing has been burning up social media for the past couple of weeks. And I was just telling my viewers that we did get in touch with Mr. Newfield, and he was even excited, is the word, to speak to us. To come on, and he will come on sometime this week to just tying up some minor ends. So he's gonna get an opportunity to share his side of the story as well. So, Janice, you know what happened, you know what transpired from the resignation up to this point. What is your take on all of these things that is burning the blogosphere right now?
My take on this is the man is a Grenadian. And just as how we are, you and I are Grenadians living in the diaspora and giving our opinions on what should happen in Grenada, on how the country is running, what we think should be different, what should change. I mean, you know what baffles me though?
Mm-hmm.
What baffles me is the offense that the prime minister took to the ambassador resigning, as opposed to the Egyptian man chastising him publicly, almost chastising him publicly. Like, we could, why you don't give us the airport to run? We could do this better than you. Like, I mean, and then he went on further and had the audacity to say, I ain't even run that by the prime minister yet. It's like he's sure on him. What is the difference though? And if you were having so many problems with this man, the ambassador was in that position for about 6 years since that office opened in Miami about 6 years ago, Florida about 6 years ago. He's been holding down that position for 6 years. You've had so many problems with him, and he's so disrespectful. Why now?
Yeah.
I,
But you
I just
made a
don't understand.
very good correlation point there that I want to kind of explore a little bit more. Why he didn't have a public spat with the gentleman? I can't remember.
Najib Swahiris.
Iris, right? Why he didn't have taken a public spat with him? And he basically pointed in his face, say, "I'm telling you now." That was
His disrespect was public and blatant.
Right.
It's like, yo, we can do this better than you. All you don't know all you're doing. Give us the airport to run. That is the tone I got from his statement.
Right.
Instead, you heard the applause.
Yeah.
You heard the applause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with the ambassador resigning, and he's not the first CBI representative in recent times. In fact, he is the third to have resigned from their positions.
The third.
The third.
I don't know of the next two.
Mr. Sisson Spain, what's his name? Recently resigned.
From where? Which one? Which
the CBI program.
Oh, you mean the alley?
Exactly.
Right. Oh, what they're saying is what the government is saying is that's something completely different. He resigned under different circumstances.
Another resignation.
Right. Right.
And I think there was someone else resigning from that CBI program in recent times. Whatever reasons were given, in whatever situation, the outburst in Parliament, I am not sure if. Remember how taken aback public officials were when the classism/racism card was played, when the gentleman, what was the gentleman's name that got assaulted in Fort Judy?
Yeah.
Now you're standing in the middle of Parliament telling your white man can't tell you what to do in your country. And if he was somewhere else, is what you not tell him?
Yeah. Okay. That again, I'm not minimizing. I'm not minimizing the big effect of everything that was said there, right? But two very little points that I want to ask. Who is Dummy James? I don't know. Somebody could tell me. He said even Dummy James could get one. I don't know who Dummy James is.
If you don't know who Dummy James is, I am not telling you who Dummy James is. As a Grenadian, you're supposed to know. There are a few people in our history you're supposed to know, and Dummy James is one of them.
Wait. I mean,
Dummy James was a character back in the day when we were going to school, and the buses used to the market square used to be the bus terminal. Dummy James was a character in that area.
But I don't know who Dummy James is. I was thinking, what Dummy James? Like, what does Dummy James have to do with this? Who bring Dummy James into this? And the second thing is, when the Prime Minister said that if I was on the street, then
is water on that building.
I use another word. I was like, what word? What word could he have been possibly thinking about you that he would call? He called him a character then. So what other word could he use to describe
let's just say the Prime Minister might have sing a jab chant for the man.
No, I mean I'm not miniaturizing the thing. This is a serious discussion. But these are some small particulars that I noticed, and I wanted to bring it up. And also, guys, I want you guys a part of this discussion. And me and Janice having this conversation here, but we want you guys a part. So this is the number 718-701-5720. We just took a quick look at the Prime Minister response to the resignation letter by Newfield, who was the former consul general in Miami. He resigned publicly, had a public spat with the government, with the prime minister, saying that about governance and a whole lot of things I read it for you earlier. And then the prime minister responded that way. What do you guys think about this? I want you to call in. Let's have this conversation. 718-701-5720. Now, prior to we having this call right here, I also tried and invited a few of the supporters who would defend the situation, and I didn't get any call back. But I like to have two sides of this discussion. I don't want it to seem like we're only here bashing one side. I want people to participate from both sides. So if you have an opposing view, we want you to call in as well. All right, 718-701-5720. Janice, what was the most significant takeaway? Your most significant takeaway from the prime minister response?
My most significant takeaway is where it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Where it happened. It wasn't the media called or a junior judge called. It was where it happened, where this happened.
In Parliament.
We are talking about an ambassador, someone who represented Grenada far and wide. The tone of the defense. The defense took the tone of, you know, when man and woman break up,
mm-hmm.
and then you find an enemy of my enemy that is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they bust up, and then it's like Facebook friendship these days.
Oh yeah. Miniaturized.
As soon as we are friends no more, then I start telling all your business. I start telling people how I go in your house and what I see you and I know food in your fridge,
mm-hmm.
and you doesn't bathe and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That was I just did not like the way it. Man, if we lost an ambassador resigned, it is okay to be upset,
mm-hmm.
but it is not okay to lambaste the person just because we friendship. I mean, we see this all over, and
somebody say rum shop talk. But hold on, Janice, we have a call on the line. Let's take this call on the line. Caller, where you calling us from?
From New York.
Go ahead, New York.
Yeah, Junior, a very interesting topic this afternoon as regular. You always say someone has a story to tell, and we're telling the story actually of what took place on Friday in the Houses of Parliament with the Prime Minister making such a remark about the person. I agree with Janice, what she's saying based on the racism issue that took place in Grenada a few months ago in Fort Judy and the incident with the man who owned that hotel on the beach in Grenada. And she's definitely right about that. But as Grenadians, we cannot be too emotional in saying stuff, and we cannot be too rash or quick to jump to conclusions. But we have to try to be very open-minded and very balanced. And Maurice Bishop once made a statement in nobody's backyard, and I definitely think that is where Keith Mitchell would have gotten, the Prime Minister would have gotten, that the Dr. the Honorable Keith Mitchell. I am giving him his respect because he's our Prime Minister still.
Right.
And he deserves that. No matter whatever political persuasion we may have. I think that's where he's taking it from. And if that is the statement he's making in Parliament, let us still applaud him. And let's try to push certain agenda and hope that the outcome is going to bring us to where we want to get. Because if they did not stand up for the Grenadian couple who got attacked by those white investors in Fort Judy, this is the time for all the so-called NGOs and support groups and whatever it is who wants to champion that cause. When I say so-called, I think that they have a lot of work to do. The political parties have a lot of work to do, but they also have a lot of work to do. I am not going to say pass leaks on one and don't pass on the other, because there is a lot of work to be done. And we have to be respected in our country. We as Grenadians, even the person came, he's an ambassador, but that doesn't give him the right to say certain things. And remember, Keith Mitchell, it might be defending himself in one sense, but I also hear in his speech that he's defending Grenada. We could surpass Keith Mitchell as well too and say, you know what? is not about you now. It's not about the NMP. It's about our future stakes in Grenada. It's about our children being respected whenever Grenadians leave the soil, leave Grenada and go to Canada, England, or anywhere in the world. There must be respected once you hear it's the Grenadian. And we must be respected by whatever race, whether it's a Chinese, whether it's another African person, or a white person. And we have to take retrospect and look back and see where we are, where we want to go. Because if everybody's going to bash him and beat him, remember at the end of the day, you defeat the purpose. So we got to be very careful what he's saying. He's saying that I may not agree with his whole.
Yeah. I mean, I want Janice to respond.
No. I'm just pointing out here, while the caller makes his point, I'm just pointing out here that the person that resigned is a Grenadian.
He's a Grenadian by investment, and
it doesn't matter what you are a Grenadian by.
If we go to the US, they don't care. If Trump wanted to kick you out of this country when he was president, he didn't care whether you're a citizen. Remember that. So I think we might see it in that sense, but the person who would have advised the prime minister would have advised him on a different.
Caller, let me ask you a quick question, and I respect your point of view. As we say, everyone have a story to tell. So I like the fact that your point of view is being heard, and we give you all the opportunity to say that. So what is the difference with someone who is a citizen by investment and a citizen by any other means when it comes to electing elected or going to the ballot or going and vote or just making any pronouncement as to who they see? What is the difference in terms of when they get to that ballot? Do they ask them, like, what are you a citizen by before you cast your vote?
But they don't. But there's a criteria for becoming citizen, and then the man would have gotten that. And we know how things work. But that is politics.
Mm-hmm.
That is politics, and politics play out anyhow. It could be corrupt politics. It could be, common sense politics. Whatever way, politics is common sense, in a matter of fact. But a lot of countries would have taken back diplomatic passports from persons once they find them, in scrupulous activities and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I am looking at it now. Would that happen to this man? Would that be another investment where the government has to step in and take it back as the last source, or any of the other investments, or because of the statement or the fallout between that ambassador and the ruling New National Party government in Grenada?
Right, Janice, go right ahead. You had another question. Caller, hold on 1 second. Janice, I see you itching to say something.
No. I was just pointing out to the caller again that a citizen is a citizen, and we are all governed under the Constitution. It doesn't matter whether you're a citizen because your parents were citizens and you were born in Barbados. It automatically makes you a citizen of Grenada. By Grenadian parentage, even if you're born in another country, you are a citizen of Grenada. Whether it's by investment or not. You see, that's why these things must be, the vetting process and all of that has to come under the microscope. It has to be a transparent process, because a citizen by investment has the same rights as you that were born in Grenada. We're all citizens governed under the same constitution. When it matters, we are all citizens.
Right.
Well, Janice, what you think? Diplomacy had a part to play in all that was said. As much as the prime minister would have wanted to come out, and the investor wanted to paint him in a particular way, I think there was a diplomatic way to go around it, and also on the prime minister's side. So both of them are wrong. Both of them in coming out and making certain statements. We didn't have to get involved in such a way to make such persons who are making rash decisions. I am still watching it. I am still listening. I'm still trying to dissect it. I'm still trying to say, okay, you know what? Probably that's an opportunity still for us as Grenadians. If I always see the people first. by the people, you know. So we know what our struggles are in Grenada. Certain things are not met, but we have an opportunity there. And let us seize that opportunity to get things done, get the respect that we need, whether it's from that same NMP administration
Okay.
or from investors.
Okay.
We know definitely that we went on a part a few months ago. We had to demonstrate. We had to do some marches. People even cry and say, "Oh, we shouldn't do it. We shouldn't do that." I saw no reason why people should, cascade at big persons who are standing up for their rights.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, caller. We appreciate you.
So, Paula,
okay,
are you saying that we're chalking this one up to a learning experience?
well, eventually that's what it lead up to, because like something backfire there. So this is the opportunity now to certainly ask, and let's try to build from there as a people, because as I say, transparency is very important in the vetting process, And let's go back to the drawing board. How did he become an investor? We probably need to draft up a new set of rules again, and so on.
But we have never had any say in this. We don't know who. There isn't even a list. And in citizenship by investment comes with privacy also.
Yeah, it does. It does.
The way in which governments are ruled or run in the Caribbean and in Grenada in particular, this morning I was looking at that same speech, and I said, is by, if you come to tell the people in the community what they're doing, they may object to it. So it's better to just push something on them. It's just like the vaccine crap that was going on for a while.
Yeah.
And we seem to be simmering down a bit. They now like to be led from on top and not from the bottom. Some leaders have that kind of mentality, and I think the majority of persons who are in government, whether it's from the ministerial level or from the executive, which is the ministers, whatever it's the cabinet, they make decisions on that level. They don't consult with the people, because
there's another name for that.
But
there's another name for that. It's communism.
Yeah. We have a whole line of callers coming up, and we need to get to. But listen, I appreciate your point of view. Keep watching.
Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. We got another call on the line, Janice. Before we move on, caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good evening. My take on the investor and the news with the Prime Minister, with the gentleman resigning, the ambassador.
Yes.
My take on it. Actually, over the few months, for example, I was not hearing like in the news like this investor and the building, for example, going to complete by January, February, March, April, May. I'm not hearing that. But that letter is on now, for example. I don't know how they go about doing it. But to me, what perhaps, for example, you say, behind closed door.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you you're going to be paying 50 cents for 5 years. And for whatever reason now, completion, and you're hearing another total.
Mm-hmm.
It's just strange. It's like it pop up. You was not hearing. I'm not too sure there's a name to the hotel was finished, or if it finished, it's supposed to complete by June or December. But that is it just pop up in the news, and the gentleman out there, the ambassador, I'm saying to myself, in this week coming up or the year to come, we're going to hear the real sin behind that. Because when you are big people, I don't think a big ambassador will go forward. We're not saying it's a fake letter to put out this letter. As they say, when school children tell you something happened, believe it, it's true. Capo smoke your pipe. So there is something else to me in the matter besides the pencil, and that's a story I'm going to be following.
Yeah, we're going to be following it as well.
We all will be following that story.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great afternoon.
All right. Thanks for calling. And let me just say this, that the letter is authentic. We confirm that by speaking directly to the man himself and his people, his press people. We had a conversation with them as well, and they did agree to give us the first and exclusive interview from their perspective, and that will be done sometime very, very soon, as they get it to tie up some ends, and they'll come on to speak. Janice, your response to the first caller, because I think he made some points that need to be spoken about a little bit more.
See, Junior, at this point, I think it comes down to perspectives. I think the where the matter was addressed and how the matter was addressed, the Prime Minister went into Jamet mode.
Mm-hmm.
This is an ambassador we worked with for 6 years. Whether his business dealings, if you have issues with his business dealings, then you deal with that in the appropriate place. But to go into the honorable building and take it up there with name calling and whatever, I mean, come on. Come on.
You're saying that you find he was petty, the way how he was handled.
It was petty.
Petty.
This is an ambassador that has represented you all over the world for the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
People in his part of the world would know him as Grenada's representative and not necessarily any one of us or the Prime Minister. So what would he tell his investors now? That the Prime Minister called him a white man and are using racial slurs against him? What message does he take to his investors now? What would the tone be for investment in his region where he came from? That we're not investor friendly? And mind you, I am one of the persons that think that the citizenship by investment program is a program that should be very transparent. We just as how you can go and I can find out if Junior George is a Grenadian.
Mm-hmm.
I think who the citizens are it should never be a private issue. And once they're cloaked in that secrecy, we'll continue to have problems. We will continue to have problems. Not necessarily because you want to know who the investor is, but in times like these, it begs the question,
mm-hmm.
Was everything on board? Were any shortcuts taken?
You know, I got a chance to speak to someone who also know Newfield very well, right? In fact, they're mutual friends with the Prime Minister and the investor. And they're saying that they're very, very, very upset that the Prime Minister took that route because Newfield was a kind of person, and that's from they telling me. They say he was the kind of person last year, I believe, or the year before, whatever, he invested how much $100,000 in hampers to the Grenadian people, to kids and people, and he been doing this for a while. My thing is, and my question I want to ask, and probably someone that in support could respond to it. Why just take no for the Prime Minister and the government to come against him if they know that he was up to no good all this time? Why is now that
we're not friends no more, so I'm gonna spill the tea. We're not friends no more, so I go tell everybody your business. I'm gonna shame you publicly. Come on.
Let's take this call on WhatsApp. Caller, live, go right ahead.
Hi, Juna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Where are you calling us from?
You know, I'm calling us from home, Grenada.
You're calling from Grenada. Go right ahead.
We never know what is happening in this country unless some caca boss. And when things pitch, that is when we don't know what's going on. And there's a lot of more things to come out. It's time that all these hidden things, and because we don't have no opposition, things is just going haywire. There is too much hidden things under the table that need to come out. And we don't have to... for this one to bust like that, it is very embarrassing to the Grenadian people, and we really don't like what is going on. Why things have to happen, and then after the shit pitch, then you hear things coming out. Why?
Mm-hmm. True.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. I understand. Thank you, caller. We appreciate you. We're gonna chat about it. Why Kaka had to pitch?
Why Kaka had to pitch?
Before we know what really going on.
Before we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Just the other day they hung up.
Yeah.
Turning sod.
But you see, Janice, here is a problem, right? And that is because, as she said, that there is no strong opposition. But what does that also say about the media in Grenada?
I haven't
Investigative
really followed.
reporting.
I haven't really followed that story on the media. I've seen some. Is it Carib Update? I saw
Yeah.
Hamlet put out
No, I'm
something on
talking
it.
about the media houses on the ground in Grenada and able to investigate. I mean, they have more access. We're in New York, eh? Janice, we're in New York. We're not on the ground in Grenada. Like, investigative reporting, find out what's going on before Kaka had to bust or had to pitch, as she said. You know, bring it out there. But I think that a lot of times, and we see it, a lot of local media houses, I don't know if they're afraid to get deep and dirty because of repercussions, right? And we all the way in New York, and sometimes we just get things. I'll be like, but what happened? There's local media houses. There is people on the ground. Why they're not more investigative reporting on the ground?
Junior, let me tell you what's going on. The government of Grenada is a very petty government. Some people may be upset with me for saying this, but the government of Grenada is a very petty government in that the repercussions of a person who decides to speak out, not necessarily because they don't like the government, but because they don't like what is going on or how certain things are done in the country, they're blackballed.
Yeah.
They're blacklisted. And I am not telling you about things that I heard about. I am telling you about things that I have experienced. Because Junior, I don't know how to lie down and play dead. I've always been speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And if they cannot deal directly with you, here, let me tell you a story. For a few years, I did the police band concert for them. I think I did it 2 years in a row. The third year, the usual people called and said, Janice, the police band concert is coming up. We'd love for you to do it again. I think it was, we'd love for you to do it again. I said, sure, what date, whatever. As usual, no, we don't sign contracts when you want someone to host something like that. They call you, you agree, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I'm living in Grenada. I ordered my dress because it's a formal event. And I ordered everything that I needed for the day. And then about a week before the event, I was called and said, we were told we can't use you.
Sad, isn't it?
Not only that, the carnival events, I was told blatantly, we're told we can't use you.
Well,
we were told.
Look up to Ashida. She almost lose her bread because she's outspoken.
Because she decides to speak out. It's not a new thing for them. It's not a one-off thing. It's something that happens if you speak and they don't like what you say, they blackball you.
So they
call people, if they can't reach you directly, they call people to blackball you.
So you don't have a strong opposition, and then you don't have a strong media. Brian Grimes made a comment here, which I highlighted earlier. Where's Grimes' statement? He said that these media workers are making minimum wage, and their bosses restrict their journalism at times. It's tough for them.
There are times you write a story in the newsroom, Junior, and point blank, they take it out. The biggest story of the day. They pull it from the newscast.
That is crazy. Let's take another call here real quick, Janice. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hi, I'm calling from the UK.
Go right ahead, UK.
I'm a Grenadian living in England, and I am very, very disappointed, not in the Prime Minister of Grenada, but on educated Grenadians who sit by and let the government of Grenada treat Grenadians like we don't have any sense. That is just so annoying and frustrating. Sometimes I look at educated people that I look up to come and defend nonsense, total nonsense. Like it's okay. And I have to wonder, nowhere in the world would these things be getting away with. The government of Grenada does no diligence, or they pretend they don't do diligence. The government of Grenada gives no accountable statement. The Prime Minister don't answer any questions. As he would say, don't go there. The followers of the government, I can't even find the words. It's actually frustrating as a Grenadian looking on for the people of Grenada. And I say that COVID has been running for so long. It's almost like our father telling us, don't do this and don't do that. It's like having a husband telling you what to do, but he can't provide. Giving you the laws, but can't put food on the table. We need a change in Grenada. Some of us Grenadians are frustrated. You could fool some of the people some of the times. You cannot fool all the people all the time. Mr. Mitchell, if you're listening, give us a break. Take some time out. We're tired. Good night, Junior.
Thank you, caller. 718-701-5720 is our number right here. And I want the Joe Clark of the world. Let me just highlight a very outspoken person that I always see there from time to time, and he also does take his opportunity to take his nag at me. He called me. He didn't call me a goon, but he made reference to some goon, and I made a post earlier on the same reference, and he said that my editorial was BS, and I respect that. Everyone have their opinion, but I would like when people have their opinion, like Mr. Joe Clark and everybody else, to don't just hide behind the keyboard and type things like that way. You know, if you have a point to make your point, make it public. Because this is an open platform. I won't hang up on you, I promise you. So Joe Clark, don't just sit behind your keyboard and show your attack and call people goon and all this other stuff. Call in and let's have a conversation. How about that?
You needed to call out Joe, boy. Joe.
I had to. Let's take this call. Call you live. Where are you calling us from?
Brooklyn. Junior, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, greetings to your guests and all your listeners, Mr. Elimas Gilbert here.
I could recognize your voice.
Yes, Janice gave her experience about the police band concert.
Yes.
Can I give my experience, please?
Go right ahead, sir.
I got an official passport years ago, around 2006, 2005, somewhere around there. Our official passport. That's the green passport. Some people get confused between the official and the red one.
The diplomatic is the red. Yes.
The diplomat is the red. I got the green one together with me, Stalfree, just to name a few artists. Now, Grenadians know me for singing on NNP platform. Right?
Right.
2008, NDC won the election. 2008, NDC won the election. And when NDC won the election, they took me off the official list. You heard what I now tell you?
Yeah.
NDC took me off the official list. When I went and renewed the passport after it expired, they told me that NDC had took me off the list. Now, they never think and say this man's contribution was very good for the country. They never think about that. They just brand me, how they brand me, and they took me off the list. That is my experience.
Right.
Okay, sir?
So it goes both ways.
Small-minded politics across the board.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Small-minded politics across the board, Junior.
Across the board. It don't matter who
NDC,
anybody who do some BS, kind of small-minded politics, kind of small-minded,
no respect,
vindictive things like that.
I have no respect for you.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if NNP do it, NNP in power, NDC in power, and
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Some of the complaints you'd always hear about is scholarships. Sometimes some very, very deserving people get left out because of small-minded politics.
Mm-hmm.
Simple things as house repair and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Small-minded politics gets in the midst of it. Well, don't talk about these days where you have to give up favors for work and land and things. You have to get touch up.
Wood for
Come
wood.
on, how did we get there?
Wood for wood. I heard about it. I was investigating that wood for wood campaign by some politician. In fact,
wait until I reach you. I go bring you. I go bring you where you need to, who you need to talk to.
Well, 718-701-5720. We're talking about the Prime Minister's statement. I want to play back a little bit again for those of you who missed it. And the Prime Minister was responding to the resignation letter, the very public release resignation letter by the former ambassador. He was also the Consul General to Grenada in Miami. This is what the Prime Minister said. If I could bring up some of his audio, just a clip. Check this out.
Really, that drove him with that desperation. Because I don't know what he needed. Because if your construction cost, as the engineer pointed out, is $30-something million, and you collected over $50-something million already, you still want another $40-something million in our application? I mean, I don't understand. That is what brought the whole thing down, Mr. Speaker. So we said, no, we're not going to give you that large excess of money. What are you doing with it? Is nothing not being brought in Grenada to invest in the development of the country? That is what brought on this hostility. So, Mr. Speaker, I felt it was necessary to give the Parliament, and by implication, the nation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he wrote him resigning his position. But
Dennis, let me put this question out there. The Prime Minister said that a certain level of illegalities or certain level of things that the Newfield is accused of doing that go against the CBI, goes against the policy of the CBI program. If all of these things are, as was mentioned, is it a legitimate reason to kick him off his post? Take your answer to this after we take this call. Caller, you live. Go right ahead.
Good evening. I have been wondering about something since Friday.
Go right ahead.
We said that this man, this ambassador who has resigned his post, is an investor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to understand, if you're an investor into the country, why are you getting money from the government to build your establishment? If you're investing,
right,
and you're paid all whatever you needed to pay, whatever you needed to do, and you became one of the CID person,
mm-hmm,
how is it that the Prime Minister is now saying that you wanted us to give you more millions, and your engineer is saying that you had X amount?
right.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't it's not adding up.
Right. Well,
Maybe,
let me put it like this, Winsome. I don't know the full extent of how the CBI thing works. So I did speak to Mr. Chris Diali earlier today, and he's no longer with the CBI program. However, I think that he could make a valid contribution to the population to kind of explain a little bit more, because there's a lot of things about the CBI program I don't understand. One of it is what you're asking. The second thing is, why is there such a level of secrecy in terms of who have the names of the people who have citizenship by investment? Those are some of the things that I don't understand. So it would be helpful if Mr. Diali could come on, and when he come on, if you do decide to come on, to answer some of these questions. But to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know if Janice knows.
Well, there's a list that came out recently there were 60 persons on the list with who have no, maybe no. I don't know. That list was for passports. I think some of them are CBI. I'll have to look at the list again. There were 60 persons. I know there are 25 Chinese on that with some have diplomatic passports and all of that.
Right.
I'm gonna check and see if there anybody with this from that program on it. But it's just I mean the whole production because of the damn production in Parliament of all places. It's supposed to be a most sacred place for government business, and that's their behavior. And it's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time.
Mhm.
That's his behavior anytime somebody gets him on the other side or something. It's just amazing that one person could tell you, turn around to you and say, we could do this better, and then somebody else resign for whatever reason. We didn't need to know about all of that, but it was okay for one, but not okay for the other. Until you had to go on a rant and even go so far to say that the man was racist. He wasn't racist when he was your friend. So who's stupid?
Mm.
So, just get it together.
There's
Enough
a
already.
lot of questions, and we're going to continue to ask the question. We appreciate your input as always. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
All right.
All right. Junior,
Uh-huh.
a lot of times these investors are good sales people. They don't have $1 billion. They don't have $100 million, but they can network and bring $100 million to the table. They
Right.
know people that have money. It's links. So a lot of times when they come into the country, they ask the government to front them a set of money.
Mhm.
Going back, remember Van Brink came into Grenada with First International Bank of Grenada Limited with a picture of a ruby
Mm.
and got a lash of money guaranteed. A picture of a ruby. They didn't even see the jewel. Is what money they didn't let go from banks and wherever to secure these people's loans. When it busts and the FBI started to come down and lock up people, then everybody started back out. But when they used to go by the and collect the car of their choice or the piece of jewelry of their choice in certain business places, you had a car dealership on Kirani James Boulevard that went under when the FBI started arresting people in Grenada. Again, it's a lot of secrecy, it's a lot of underhand deals, and it's a lot of the country signing these guarantees and losing money to some of these shady investors when you realize they have no money. All they have is a picture of a ruby. And Van Brink and them was not the last that Grenada lost money to.
Let's take this next call here real quick. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hello, calling from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead, Brooklyn.
Junior, I like what Janice is saying, she speaks the truth.
Right.
We have people in positions of authority, people who make decisions, people who make laws. And you know what they do? They look at a picture of a precious ruby to give a man a license. And at the end of the day, 170 million US dollars were taken away from people. I wonder if Grenadians would like people to take some of the money from them. Some of the money that they work hard for.
People committed suicide over this.
And Central Water Commission and under the cocoa and as teachers. I wonder if they would like people to take the money from them and go with it in Trinidad and get taken. Because you have some people in Grenada who said at the time, well, it's not people.
Caller, you there?
We should realize that the problems that we have program.
Caller, hold on. Your headset. Can I shock you out?
Transparency and accountability. So a gentleman in Parliament said construction, according to the engineer, costs $37 million. 37 million US or 37 million EC. He didn't say, right? I don't think so.
They are stuck in US.
Like 50 million.
Mm.
And the man want more. And the man also say, the man apparently do things one side and he do it a second time. So there is problems, or there is corruption, or there is mistakes, or there is planned activities within the CBI that is not legal according to the law. And here you have the man, big man, knowing that it is wrong and doing nothing about it. Because he knows he said it didn't go the way it was supposed to go. And he doing nothing about it. Are benefiting from that program. I wonder how much people in Dunfermline, in Rochdale, and Lansing, Guelph, Pine Sweet.
Yeah. Caller, I'm trying.
Benefiting from that. You see, the point I want to make here, according to what was said in Parliament, the man collect 50 million. So he made 30 million, 35% profit, which is about $13 million on the dealer.
Yes.
But what are the benefits to Grenada?
Right. And I said we will try. We're gonna try to, caller. We're gonna try to have Mr. Diali and some.
The point I'm making here is you have people in position of authority, including Mr. Diali.
Right.
Who don't care about the ordinary Grenadian citizen, but they're using Grenadian citizens to sell money for themselves and their friends.
Right.
And they don't care about the people who are around.
Right. Caller, thank you. Thank you for. Caller.
To realize the secret order charge and the dummies that we have that have certification is not good for Grenada.
Okay.
Accusing the man that is a statistician.
Okay.
Have a blessing.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. His.
I lost a lot of what he was saying.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of what he was saying because his microphone was breaking up. Junior, you know what we as Grenadians, here's what we need to do. We need to stop this party thing, this NNP, NDC party thing, and start looking at what will benefit Grenada, what will benefit our children, Junior, there's no reason why a place like Grenada, we have some of the most delicious chocolate, some of the purest nutmeg, some of the best fruits in the world. But we're selling our nutmegs by crocus bag to somebody a lot far away.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're sending back 1 ounce of nutmeg to the retail stores. And we are paying $4 and $5 for 1 ounce of nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
Nutmeg is a precious commodity. Nutmeg is used in medication. Nutmeg is used in cooking. Nutmeg could make you high, Junior, like crack cocaine. Yet we're in 2021 because this government hates and absolutely hates agriculture. We are still sending out our nutmegs in crocus bag. Why not invest in the people? Invest in agro-processing. Let's figure out how we can package our nutmeg. And look at what was his name again? God rest his soul. Mr. Noel with the nutmeg spray.
Yes.
Junior, I never not have a nutmeg spray in my house because anything hurting you, maybe it's mind over matter and I'm just patriotic. But I don't have no Bengay in my house. I don't have no heat, whatever in my house. I have nutmeg spray. Anything that hurting you, spray some nutmeg spray on it. In 5 minutes, the pain gone. I don't know if it's mind over matter or maybe I just patriotic and I love things that come out home.
Right.
But we have natural resources, Junior. There's no reason why we should be looking and begging people to buy tablets for our children.
That's true. There's
no reason in 2021. Look at where Maurice Bishop left us before they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
We were leading the Caribbean, Junior. Why in 2021 we don't have internet hotspots in every junction in Grenada?
Yeah.
So children could attend classes online. Even if you say fine, we cannot put internet in every home, but we are going to contract cable and wireless. No, it's not cable. Is cable and wireless still? But we're going to
yeah.
we're going to contract whomever to put internet in the community centers so children can go to school.
Yeah. Hold on, Janice.
What are we doing?
From Grenada. Let's just take this call from Grenada. They've been holding a little while. Call you live. Go right ahead.
I'm calling because I want to give Janice a little time to breathe. I want to give my friend Janice a little time to breathe. Because I don't want her to fall down with high blood pressure, high use fast. So I want to give her some time to breathe. Understand?
Okay, caller.
Thanks for calling. I could do with some assistance. I could do with some support.
I will take up the baton and I will run a shot. If it's a 4x1 we running, well, from long time I third leg badger.
You're third leg, okay. Finish it.
Finish it.
You see how I shot? Then I lean on the bend and I come in wrong. Oh, you. When you see I lean on the bend and I come in wrong and I inside lane, boy, I eating up grass. Let me tell you something. I have a problem. I want to know. I start late. I tune in late, but I want to know. I have some questions.
Hold on, this Mr. Ski. Who identify yourself, sir?
Hold on now. You don't call me name, man. That's what.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have some questions. And I start late, but I have some questions, and I don't know if these questions were addressed. But just for chance they weren't, I want you to document them from a place so that when the relevant people come on, you could ask them these questions for me. Question number 1. Why it is the Prime Minister wait until Friday to see what he had to say if there was a problem?
Valid.
That's the first question.
Valid.
Because you see, if we knew that there was a problem before, and you ain't say nothing, but I could be very frank here, you wait until the shit hit the fan, and you want to come and blame somebody else. I don't know who have good foot and who ain't taking front. I ain't sure is the quote-unquote white man, as you call him, that take in front. And let me tell you something. I want the Prime Minister to understand even further. Maybe he needs to read the political manual again, because I know he's a master at politics, but for chance, one or two things may have eroded in his memory. No. People operate in circles. So footballers line together, cricketers line together, politicians line together, investors line together.
Yes.
That they do.
I want to let the boss know, because he's the boss. I want to let the boss know that when you do so and you're bowling bouncer at this investor in the wicket, the rest of investors that have to
come
watching and they ain't sure if they want to back. You understand? Because you see, the captain might declare. And when the captain declare, he pull everybody off the field. You understand? He say, all you come in, the bowler is too aggressive. We ain't go in and face that bowling. Then we send them back out. So no, here's the point I'm making. I want the boss to tell me again, if there was a problem, I want to know what are the deals, what are the interests, what are the circumstances, to use his terminologies, what are the circumstances surrounding people gaining citizenship by investment and what is required of them. I don't know if that is a secret or if it is private. Because you see, while something might be private, it should not be secret. You see, private means that I could find out given the right conditions. Secret means I ain't finding out at all.
No, it's not your business. Mind your business. Don't bite the hands that feed you.
So you see, I want to know what are it. Because you see, here's what my concept of the citizenship investment, the CBI should have been based on, from what I understand. A man come, he have a money, he has links to some money, he say you want to do this project here, but to do this project here, you have to front some money, and part of gaining the citizenship of this country, you have to do something. So therefore, maybe this man now, with his investment, must say, okay, as part of my investment in giving back to Grenada, apart from doing this project, I will develop all the bus stops in the south of the island. So I will spend, you don't have to give me $40 million. I will give you $40 million to develop all the bus stops in the south of the island, so that when people standing waiting on the buses, they can shelter, so that people wouldn't have to be taking the buses off the bus stop for the busman to get a $150 ticket. Anyhow, that's the next thing.
And the bus stop will have a little solar panel on top of it, so young girls won't get raped on night in the night.
Right. You see, there we go again. And here the next thing. Because you see, I have questions, you know. I have questions. I have questions. And the next question is this. So, how come citizen investment chairman's resigning? Because Diallo is not the first that resigned. We had people before him. There was a minister's husband who was in charge, and that thing happening. We ain't getting no details. Now, I don't know if 15 mil it means that because it's still 15 mil, eh? Don't get tired, it's 15 mil still, because the one that leave, I don't want to talk about that. Shouldn't talk about that, because you see, I'll get vexed, because you see, I live in the constituency, and he misrepresented me. Anyhow, now, I have questions, my brother. I have questions. You understand? I want to know, why is it? I personally want to know, why is it that the Prime Minister still insists on going into Parliament and behaving in a wajangist manner and campaigning in the Parliament? 2 elections ago, the Prime Minister was campaigning in the Parliament. You remember his Parliament speech testified? You remember Parliament down in the Trade Center when he was testifying? Let's campaign are going to all back there. You see, the Parliament is a sacred place, you know, according to a political history of culture and everything. And I want to applaud Janice for the statement that she made. You see, the last statement that Janice made, when she said, where Maurice Bishop left us 10 years ago, we have regressed. Let me tell you why we have regressed. Because when the revolution took over this country, the unemployment rate in this country was 49%. It is very close to that now. The illiteracy rate. What? Help me out, that tongue twister.
The illiteracy rate.
Illiteracy.
Yes, right.
Illiteracy rate. That's the word I'm trying to find. You had the word all the time. They give me the word. Right? That was 10% high, but then it dropped to 3% or 4% after 3.5 years of the revolution.
But
right?
Jason, stick a pin. Hold on. I need to make a point while you point out because we went back there. Because you went back there. Let me point out something to you. These illiterate people realized that Eric Matthew Gary was not doing the best for them. What did they do? Did they say, no, I don't want it because Gary suit white and I vote in yellow or I vote in green? No, they made the best decision for them. They supported wholeheartedly, even though they couldn't read. They understood that Maurice Bishop represented development. Today, we have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees.
And I'll tell people this. Janice, let me tell you. You see, Gary was about Grenada. Bishop
was about people.
No, you see, even though they differed in their ideology, the bottom line that they operated, the finish line that they looked at was the development. Because you see, while Gary was dealing with Grenada, Bishop said, no, you're focusing too much on Grenada. I want us to also focus on Grenadians.
On the people. Because Gary was amazing, you know. When Grenadians had donkey carts, Gary was building roundabouts. So he was a visionary for the country. Maurice, on the other hand, was a visionary for the people. He thought about educating them and their children.
Let me leave a last one before I go. Just let me leave a last one because I don't want to pick up too much time.
Go ahead.
When you see the symbol, the house, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? And that's a rhetorical question.
To me right now, to a mind.
To me, when I see the symbol of house, it says to me love, togetherness, family, unity, shelter, caring. These are the things that come to mind. These are the words, these are the adjectives that come to mind when I see the symbol of house. why is it so difficult for the average hard-working young person in this country to own a home? And you have, watch, let me go.
And the average young person right now, they're on contract.
Good night.
Meanwhile, Ralph is guaranteeing loans for them in St. Vincent.
Good night. Good night.
Just so we go have a full program with you. Just always have
Let me go.
a lot to contribute.
He gone. So, Junior, where are we?
Yes. And you know that's true, right? I just want to say something. I just want to say one thing, right? I see people chastising Specky, and that is not what we're speaking about here. But Specky just called and he made his point of view, right? And I want to say it very clear. I don't want people to get that sense that someone shouldn't speak if they see injustice. Injustice don't run on one stream, eh?
I agree. Listen, you cannot take away what Inspector has done for Grenada.
No way.
So to pull Inspector's official passport is wrong.
No matter who.
Unless he did something that tarnished the reputation of the country or was questionable about his ability to conduct himself as an ambassador, it's wrong across the board.
Yeah.
I can't see the comments from where I'm at.
Okay. Well, no, they're saying certain things. I just want to make it very clear. I mean, Specky called here and he gave his facts, his reality. Just like if somebody was to walk down the street and somebody with a green shirt hit them with a baseball bat across their head, and they came and they say somebody hit me with a green somebody with a green shirt or NNP shirt hit me with a baseball bat along the head. Well, you go chastise them because they're talking the truth about what happened to them. No, he's talking the facts, and this happened to him, and he has all the right to say that. I have no problem with what Specky said. And if NDC, NNP, TGM, whoever is in power, we're gonna sit here and I'll put their foot to the fire. If they do something shitty, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I like how you brought in TGM.
Yeah, well,
I love it.
TGM making
I love it.
we gotta call it.
I love it.
Hello?
Yeah, caller, you're like, where you calling us from?
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good evening.
Hi, and good evening, Janice.
Hi.
You wanna hear me clearly?
No, I hear somebody fighting. Hold on, somebody fighting in the background.
There's a lot of background noise.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Right, hear me now?
A little better.
Okay, wonderful. Junior, I am a person who follows up a lot on politics, right?
Right.
And I see and I know, and you know, we all are entitled to our own opinions, whatever the case may be, right? But it's on 110 different levels. Revoking Specky's passport was wrong.
Right.
And that brought me back to when NMP won the election after the year they won after NDC, right? And my mother worked at the hospital for like 8 years under the NDC program and so on. And as soon as the NMP came into power, she was terminated and they hired only NMP associates. And I'm saying this to say that why do we have to brand everything based on the party in which you support, which not supposed to be?
Right. True. Right.
And then the hurtful part about it is that the people who they're hiring it's a lot of the parliamentarians, people who they know personally or who they are related to personally, and this should not be.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
You understand me?
Yes.
So,
no, Janice was
saying something.
She was saying that she agreed with what you said.
Yes, and again too, you all brought up the discussion earlier on about a lot of people who is well deserving of scholarships. And the people who are deserving of scholarships again are the parliamentarians people again, because you don't find a poor black man's child
out there getting a scholarship for different universities or different sporting places. You will have either the minister's son or the minister's nephew, so on and so on. You understand? And that shouldn't be.
Right.
That has to stop. I agree. That has to stop.
Okay, so let me cut off now.
Thank you, caller. Point well taken.
Junior,
Right.
somebody just commented here and said, but Janice NNP took back Black Wizard passport too because he was with the NDC, and
Right.
that is fire. We burning fire on all of that. We burning fire on all of that.
No matter what happens.
A deserving Grenadian represents Grenada. That deserving Grenadian though representing NDC ain't representing NNP. Because when they're out here in the US or in Europe or in Canada or in Japan, they are not representing a party. They are representing the country.
True.
We need to stop that. That needs to stop.
True. Absolutely. Let's take this next call. Call you live. Where are you calling us from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Go ahead, Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. I agree with my sister on your side there, what she was speaking about. No, it's possible true that Grenada needs development. And if Kit Mitchell government is going to take money from investors to develop certain projects in Grenada, what the hell is he doing with that money? People need to know. Because, for instance, I should think he will take that money and start developing in the country for the people himself. Let's give an example. Okay, somebody give him $50 million because they want to develop on a site somewhere in St. George's. Okay, let's look about the Pearls airstrip. How about developing something over there? We grow a lot of sugar cane in Grenada. How is it all we can do is make rum? What about sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to import things that we ourselves had factories which we can maybe buy the equipment or whatever it is and develop? Start from there. Flour, soap,
I agree.
We used to do it before when we had the agro industry. So if the investors give you money and they're developing one part of the country, use that money and develop another part of the country. It's so shameful that you see people who graduated from college and high school that they're selling bag of onions and stuff like that by the roadside. Mm-hmm. They're selling fish in the fish market. The parents rape and scrape to make sure they get a proper education. What's the result of it? That's unfair. The youths and them in Grenada, they have like no future. The same people you pass by today and see them by the road in the rum shop, tomorrow morning you pass back, you see the same set of people right there. They have no vision. I mean, they may have vision, but it's not coming through.
Right.
We got a lot of things in Grenada that we can use investors' money and invest in to benefit the people, the citizens of Grenada.
Point well taken. That's the
whole concept. I'm not saying we is not that financially supportive or secure in Grenada. We do need a little help, and we all can attend to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do need a little help. And an investor giving you all this kind of money to invest. What the hell are you doing with it? Invest somewhere else. Do something for the people. Let the people see that you are doing something for them. But my thing is they just share the money among themselves or whatever they do with it, and to hell with the people until election come again and bribery and they get elected, and the same thing just keep going back in a circle. But it's time for Grenadian people to wake up. The youth of Grenada is really, really, really suffering. They don't even have a decent public library in Grenada. Look at St. Andrews, undeveloped.
Yes.
It's like St. Andrews is not a place. It's undeveloped. And then when you look like in places like St. Patrick's, it's like it's out of the equation. It's not on the map at all.
Yes.
So they need to do better than that, because if they don't, I don't know.
Okay,
thank you,
caller. Thank you, caller. Appreciate your
right.
input on the topic. Appreciate you.
Junior, a government with vision would invest in agriculture and agro-processing. This government, even in the heat of COVID, is trying to sell us tourism. Even in the heat of COVID, a world pandemic that we don't know when it's going to end. We don't know if the vaccine is going to work. We go try it, but you might need to take another shot in a year. Even in the heat of this, the government of Grenada is trying to sell us tourism. Yeah. Junior, this government has no vision. It doesn't have vision. It doesn't plan ahead. Every year we're graduating hundreds of students from our high school, hundreds of students from our college. We're telling people to go ahead and get a better education. These young people are investing in St. George's University and UWI. And when you're finished, as the lady said, the opportunities are limited. It's true. People are supposed to find their own hustle. And if your hustle is legit and you're selling onion by the road, I ain't had no problems with you. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the dream. You didn't tell them when you go to primary school for 6 years and you go to secondary school for 5 years and you went to college for another 2 that you're coming out and sell onion on the side of Andel supermarket. Mm-hmm. Where are the opportunities? Yeah, and then if they get a job, they're on contract. So they cannot get a loan from the bank to build a house.
Yes.
You know, after you reach a certain age, Junior, the bank doesn't want to give you a loan because you look like you go dead just now.
Yeah, you go dead just now. You're on your last.
So they don't want to invest in you. But as a youth, nobody is taking a chance on you. You're not getting a permanent job. And if you do get a job, it's on contract. You can't go to the bank with a contract, Junior.
Yeah, and that's another topic that we have to engage in. I saw Brian Grimes had a big live the other day. I watched the entire thing where he was speaking about contract work.
Contract workers is a slap in the face.
Yes.
For educated people.
Yeah, and we have to dig deeper into that.
Mind you, there are good contracts in that you might find a company that wants to hire you on contract and says, okay, at the end of your tenure, we give you $50,000 or $100,000 because you were on contract, because we know we're not paying you benefits. We know we're not covering your insurance and all of that. There are good terms of contracts, but the contract down there is we can pay you $1,500 a month for a year or 2 years. You can't take that to the bank, Junior. You can't start a family. You can't make a child with that. You cannot invest and build a house with that. Because nobody is accepting a contract as work.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face. Let's take this call.
It's a slap in the face of educated people. Why are we telling our children to go to school?
Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hi, Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado. Go right ahead, Denver, Colorado.
Yes. So, I mean, I listened to the program, and it is sad. I'm 100% Grenadian, and I will be for Grenada 100% no matter what the case may be. But after sitting down and I realized that Keith Mitchell and Keith Mitchell regime has turned Grenada Grenadian youth into a bunch of beggars. The youth in Grenada, they do not have any opportunity or anything like that. Every time you say they got to beg to get a job, beg to get the money, beg to get everything that they need to get. So they take away our Grenadians' ability to actually get out there and get a livelihood and actually work hard. And they become a bunch of beggars where you have to be begging them. So we become relaxed. Grenadian youth and Grenadian people in general has become relaxed. There is no, the motivation where back in the 80s where we talk about Maurice Bishop and the movements and trying to get Grenadians to do things and Grenadians actually build themselves, all this motivation has gone. But we become a bunch of beggars. And it is sad that the same sort of people who say we need opportunities is the same sort of people in election, they will actually go and vote these people and them back inside. And it's the same youth, it's a lot of the youth that go and vote them back because the election, rum.
Caller, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who do you blame for making the Grenadian people, as you said, a bunch of beggars? Do you blame a particular administration for doing that?
So I blame ourselves. I blame ourselves because we fail to act when we need to act. I blame ourselves because we continuously seeing the wrong that is going ahead in Grenada. We continuously seeing the lies. We continuously seeing everything that is wrong. But yet when election day comes, you bring the best artists in Grenada from Jamaica. You give them free bus, free rum, free music, free t-shirts, free lies, so to speak, and they go right back there and they vote them back inside again. Everything about the NDC government, the NMP government, everything about Keith Mitchell from the day he started to this day is a bunch of lies. And he brings Grenada to the point where he always wanted, in my opinion, to bring Grenada where Grenada is dependent on him, so to speak, or dependent on foreign investors, so to speak, or to a reason where Grenada can do so much better. But everything that we do is beg. The youth beg, the people beg. And the begging start that we have to go to the politician to beg. Can I get a tube of gas, please? My gas done today, you know. All right, let me take another $5 in my pocket and give it to you. Let me make you think that you are doing something good for me. No. But we have to change the mindset. Grenadians have to change the mindset. And it starts not while we talk about the youth and we have to get things and the youth is graduating and everything that is good. But we have to start sitting down and talk to the youth seriously, because the bunch of the voters or that big block where NMP keep winning is because of that youth voters. We need to sit and talk, and I keep saying, and I'm sorry to say, but the educated people who see things that goes on in Grenada do not vote for NMP. But you have the youth that they corrupt the mind and everything, and them are the youth. So we have to start with them. When we get them involved, when we get them properly educated on what is going on in Grenada, that will be a change. But if we do not do that, Grenada will continue to be in the situation where we are in right about now. We can't do anything about it.
All right, thank you, caller. We appreciate your input.
And Junior, he's not saying that the beg thing that he's talking about, he's not saying it to insult people enough.
Right, yeah, and I want to make that clear.
Let's make that clear. From my understanding of what he's saying, he's not saying people begging, but what he's saying is that even if you go to school, the opportunities are very, very limited.
Yeah.
You know? So there are times when you genuinely don't have.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's Grenada, the situation in Grenada is so frustrating. But what we need to get people away from. Oh God, the Prime Minister could dance, you know, see? Oh, you look a short tight. We have to get away from that. We have to look at the bigger picture. We have to understand that this is about, and there's something that's going on with Grenadians, Junior. Some Grenadians have a mentality that if it's not happening to me, I don't need to speak about it. I don't need to concern myself with it. We need to change that, because old people say when your neighbor house on fire, you need to wet yours.
Wet yours.
So somebody might be exploited today, and you feel, I don't need to concern about that. That ain't happening to me. I still have my job. I still have electricity. I still have food in my fridge. That person being exploited is not my business. When your neighbor house on fire, wet yours. And if something is wrong, it's wrong across the board.
Point taken. Let's take this caller coming in from, I believe, Grenada. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, Junior.
Yes.
Good night. And good night to the young lady who's speaking the reality. I listened in the program.
Yes.
And basically, the whole thing about it in Grenada here is that you have a lot of people that have hatred for politicians.
Right.
Especially those who have hatred for Nazim Mok. Right? Now, what they do is, you see, we can't blame the people who vote for NNP because they vote for the party that has democratic rights.
Right.
But when you have people like Wickham and certain elements in Grenada, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones that are responsible for the situation Grenada is in. Because you see what happened is that Psychologically, all of them team up to fight against Nazim Bok, in which we know that Nazim Bok is a decent and honest gentleman. You check? Because we know that Nazim Bok is a man that steered this ship in the rough waters during the worst economic crisis that passed in the world. Right? Most people saying that the economy didn't go anyway. That is good. I give Nazim Bok and the rest of the team in the NDC kudos for that. But other countries that have all their resources, them drop. NNP been saying that a very long time. The economy was stagnant. So it's better the economy stagnant than the economy slide down. Right? So when you check people like Peter Wickham and them, right, and certain elements in Grenada, all of them just team up to fight against one man. No Grenadians getting to realize that the fight what they gave wasn't justified. So when you check the 20% of the people who did not vote, they are the ones who be blamed for the situation right now because they refused to vote. Because if they had come out and vote, basically the government would have changed. You see, because when you check out in the constituencies, the amount the NDC candidate lose by 3 times that didn't vote. So when you have these pollsters and them coming in and they saying they're doing polls, you're doing a poll. People in St. John's never see you. People in St. Mark's don't see you.
Yeah,
People
but
in St.
the poll don't determine who win the election, caller. And the other thing is,
what I say now, that's true. What I say now is that the whole thing about it is that they use them to come and make people feel, well, boy, NNP win already, so it don't make sense you're voting. And then you have certain element. That's what's going on. That was the whole cycle, you know. The whole cycle is that NDC cannot win because of the leader. So the whole thing was about it here in Grenada now was a conspiracy against one man. Because they know the man capability and they know the man force, they know what the man is capable of doing. So the whole thing about it, and a lot, I won't call those in Grenada name, you know, they know who they are. Right? You see, them just have some hate and spite for Mr. Bok as a decent man. And I will always say that.
Right.
So when they come in and they're trying to say NDC can't win because of the leader, because they don't have the right leader. Which other leader you could see in Grenada better than Nazim Bok?
Well,
when you check it out.
That is your opinion, right? That is your opinion, and I respect your opinion. Everybody else's opinion.
Let me tell you one more thing. Let me just say one more thing.
When
Nazim Bok had asked Kit Mitchell for a debate on television, what was Kit Mitchell reply? Let us go in the stadium. Right there and then, Junior, Grenadians would have seen who has the heart of a devil and who genuinely want to lead this country to prosperity. I rest my case.
All right, thank you for we appreciate it.
Here's what I've learned over the years about Grenadians. Grenadians, well, I shouldn't generalize it. Here's what I learned about some Grenadians over the years. Some Grenadians, a lot of Grenadians, do not care about the issues. As long as it's not affecting them, they do not care about the issues.
True.
A lot of Grenadians vote for who they like.
Well, that's it. That's it.
Point blank.
But that's
they
not only
don't
Grenada.
care that foreign investors are coming in Grenada and boxing us down. It doesn't matter. Come election day, they vote for, I find I like him, you know. They vote for who they like.
Yeah, and they also there have been a long correlation between your support for a political party and who your family support. In most cases, if you grew up in a
mother was a Gariite.
yeah.
I don't care what nobody else say. I am a Gariite.
Yeah.
My mother was a NDC. I don't care what nobody say. I was a NDC.
Yeah, that's true.
My father was an NNP. I voted NNP. That has been the trend for the longest while.
Let's take this next call here quick, Janice. Caller, we live. Where you calling us from?
Junior, quickly. I'm calling back from Brooklyn.
Go ahead, Brooklyn.
I like what Janice made the point. A lot of us as Grenadians, we don't care much about the fire except when it's burning us. But we forget the old simple adage that if your neighbor house is on fire, where's yours?
Yeah, true.
We throw that out the door. So Janice is certainly right. I wonder if some of us Grenadians take a look at the government prospectus with regard to finance $10 that they intend to raise on the stock exchange in the Eastern Caribbean, they can find it at ecseonline.com. It will give them an idea of what the economy is like. Export has been cut by half, but we still continue to import over $400 million.
We importing Pennacool, Dread. How we going to import Pennacool?
Well, let me just finish. We have to produce in order to get our way out of the mess that we're in. And this CBI program, people need to understand it. The CBI program is not for local Grenadians because they ain't benefiting in any serious way. The job to clean the hotel room, ask how much they're paying for it. But look at what is happening. You're selling Grenadian passports. The money ain't coming to Grenada according to the matter that speak in Parliament, you know. The investor collect $50 million. So right up the board, he have money in his pocket to build a building and do what he have to do. How much Grenadians getting a job out of the 13 million in profit that he make? Zero. As a matter of fact, I doubt they know where he has the money. Whether he have it in Australia, Miami, or in Trinidad. So Grenadians have to realize that that CBI project, with all the talk that the people giving us, is not benefiting us in any significant way. You know what else that people are not aware of? No taxes are being paid. Tax-free for the investor. And even the people that buy an apartment or a room or a building in all the hotel projects is tax-free. And if they sell it to somebody else and they get the citizenship is still tax-free for years upon years. Grenadians wake up. You've been taken for a serious ride.
Thank you.
The CBI program is only benefiting a few lawyers and a few accountants who get some fees and they're happy because they're getting US dollars in their pocket and they won't say a word. They're selfish.
Right.
And worse yet, they even talk about the people in government. They don't care because they're probably getting a good deal. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
Grenadian people getting nothing.
So, some might say that it trickles down into the local economy. That might be the argument on the other end. But let me just publish this here real quick, Janice. While we were speaking about this, because we made mention of it, and I just want to add for clarification purposes, someone sent me this article that was printed, and it says 60 persons listed as having diplomatic passport, and he named a few right there. You can't see it because the print is kind of small. Let me see if I could even zoom up on it a little bit, magnify this a little bit better so you guys could probably see some of the names. And it has some names. I'm seeing quite a few names. Ziowen Chen.
No. What you need to focus on is the nationality, Junior.
Okay, let's look at the nationality. So I'm looking
at the nationality.
Canadian, Egyptian, Chinese, Japanese, Chinese, Moroccan, Lebanese, Chinese, British, American, Grenadian, Lebanese, Ukrainian, Egyptian, Chinese, Grenadian, Chinese, Belgian, Chinese, Polish, Chinese, German, Grenadian, Barbarian, Chinese, Grenadian, South African, Grenadian, Chinese, Grenadian, Lebanese, American, Grenadian, Irish, Egyptian, Chinese, Hungarian, Chinese, and Chinese.
How many Grenadian ambassadors did you see there?
Grenadian ambassadors. There is a Grenadian ambassador, a deputy representative. That's one. That's one. So let me go. Let me be fair to this ambassador, Yolande Smith. She's an ambassador, she's Grenadian. We have another ambassador, Akima Paul. We have another one, DNC. I'm calling her the name is public knowledge. That's 4. 5, we have an ambassador, Aline Francique, ambassador at large. And we also have Christopher C. Ashley. That's about 5 or 6.
5.
Yeah. Grenadian ambassadors. The rest are Chinese, Lebanese, and Germans, and a few British, but mostly Chinese on this list that was published. And we said that there were a lack of transparency in terms of publishing this. So I wasn't aware that this was published. So is that saying that those are all the not CBI, but all the ambassadors that hold Grenadian diplomatic passports?
Oh no, there are way more than that.
Okay. Well, that's something that we could look into. Hopefully, Mr. Diali and
The last time that gentleman published a list for the same Kiwana Bay resort, and it was way more than that's on that list. That particular list, it was a lot.
Right. Okay.
It made the news. A picture with a lot of Grenadian passports. Well, Caricom passports.
Oh, all right. Someone was on hold. We got shut off. All right. Someone, I want to go back. I want to go back a little bit, Janice. We way over time. Wow, Janice, we're talking for a whole 2 hours. When me and you catch up, we just don't know how to shut up. I'm telling you,
we have a lot of things to talk about.
Janice, we have to stop that.
We have a lot of things to talk about. A lot of issues, a lot of burning issues.
Every time, so Janice.
Every time we meet, we just go over time.
Let's go way over time. So, Janice, I want to go back to the first issue that we spoke about. Do you think that the Prime Minister pulled the race card? Did you?
Did he just see the man as white?
True. The man was white all the time. He been there for 6 years.
When the Egyptian billionaire told him, I think you should give us the airport to run. We can do a better job than the government. I didn't hear him pull the race card though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That race card convenient. If you're chastising people, in fact, he defended it. I guess who have the most oil fry the most bakes? Who have more money?
Who had the most oil fry the most bakes?
Junior, enough from the country. Who have the most oil fry the most bakes?
I never heard that one before. That is a new
Seriously?
one. You just make that one up.
Junior, you're not from the country.
Just make that one up.
You're not a Grenadian. You're not a Grenadian.
Just make that one
What's
up.
wrong with you?
I just kidding. Just make that one up. Listen,
Who have the most oil
Janice,
fry the most bakes?
we have to come back and talk about something else another time. Time is up. We have to cut it, Janice. My voice hurting me. I have to go and eat something. I have to go and drink something. Final words, Janice. Final words. Let's close it up.
Who have the most oil fry the most bakes?
That's all you're gonna say. That's all you're gonna say. Who had the most
Junior, listen. Seriously though. Grenadians, we deserve better. We can do better. I have been privy to Grenadian politics for a long time. And we need to start focusing on issues that will benefit our children, our grandchildren, and will leave our patrimony intact. We are selling the best, not renting, not leasing for a period of time. We are selling the best of what is ours to, well, we can't call them non-nationals. We can't even call them foreign investors, to Grenadians. What happens here is that the population will grow.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody stays on board, the population will grow. We need a few more people in Grenada. In my mind, we need about 20,000 productive citizens more in Grenada in order for us to make a dent in anything. But it needs to be a transparent, it needs to be an above board operation. The people who are wielding our passports need to be good Grenadians, for want of a better word. Your character should not be questionable. You should be a representative of Grenada, not just because you have enough money, but it has to come down It has to come down to values and what we believe in and how we live and how we party and how we live, Junior, our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get some level of organization and transparency, because we don't want every time an investor gets upset, he can write a scathing report on the way Grenada do business. That is not a good look. If we're doing business, we're doing good business.
Yeah.
Then, second thing, Grenadians, y'all see what's going on now. Open your mind and stop asking the stupidest question in the world. If Keith Mitchell is not the prime minister, then who? That is the stupidest question in the whole world. We raise our children. We send them to school. We educate them. Some have traveled far and wide. Some have traveled because everybody can't stay home. There are no opportunities for them to grow and glow. Some have traveled for experience. Start embracing our young, not so young, and educated, smart Grenadians who have Grenada's best interest at heart. Start embracing Grenada and stop asking the stupidest question in the world. If Keith Mitchell can rule the country, then who else could rule it?
Mm.
On that note, I rest my case.
Yes, Janice, I have one last call. I have a final statement to make, but I want to take this last call and then I'll wrap it up. Caller,
Yes.
go ahead. You're the final caller for the night.
I love the point with the most oil for the most big. But we Grenadians, we believe, most of us believe, in 8 days stop, and that dead. Still another year again. I hope that's not the case. That case we're working on now, I want to hear it in the week coming up. A proper explanation, and who in the kitchen are feeling the heat. And it's not the noise in the market. Thank you. Have a blessed night.
Wow, that's a lot. Nice, a lot.
What the most oil fry, the most baked.
Most baked. Yes. Okay.
That is why one man get chastised and another man did not get chastised. Who are the most oil fry, the most baked.
Janice,
yeah,
it's nice having you as always, my dear. We'll keep in touch. Okay.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
And good night to our viewers and listeners wherever you are. One love, Grenada. We have one thing in common, Grenada.
Yep, that's true. We'll catch up.
All right.
Yes, guys. Thanks, Janice. She's always, Janice needs to be on Ride Along more regular. Fine. You have a nice vibe all the time. Guys, listen, no matter what side of the aisle you sit, right? Janice said it right. We have one thing in common. All of us love Grenada. It don't matter if you are, in an NNP household, if you love NNP or you love NDC. At the end of the day, we all love Grenada, and that should be what brings us together. All right? And I hope that the betterment for the country should be, and it should never be a political thing, right? But people have a difference of vision of how they see it and how they should we go left or should we go right. But I don't think that the people involved are bad people. I just think that they have their foresight on how they see it, and people who support NNP, they're not bad people. That's how they believe, and that's what they feel. NNP was good to them, or NDC was good to them. We can't fight them against what they believe, right? The other thing is, we have to speak the truth when we see things happening. And after this, the government, the prime minister made this statement there. I, as an outspoken person that live here in the United States, I felt a way and I put out a statement because that's how I felt. It was my opinion on it, right? And for all who took it people said that it was BS, and people said that I should have never made that editorial about it. But the truth and the fact about it is, the reason why I put that out, because I felt unsafe. Because here I am in the United States, as I said in the article, in a predominantly white country, 70-something% white. We are the minority in this country right here. And sometimes we get our citizenship here in the US, and we go out and vote to change the political structure here in the US. We were not from here, we wasn't born here. But we became a citizen, and we have rights, and we use those rights in whatever way, political and otherwise. So I think that it was wrong that the Prime Minister made that connotation, that what he said and how he said it, talking about white man. And think about it, people want to say all your black people, should never come here and be so outspoken, or shouldn't come here and vote or change the political structure here in the US. So I felt a way about this. And I hope that the Prime Minister will somehow retract on that, because we don't want that same thing being said about the people in the diaspora when we are outspoken on a particular issue, right? So I hope the Prime Minister would make a kind of, would come out and clarify that statement. And Jason Skeet said it right? Politicians sit down in a corner by themselves and they drink a beer. Calypsonian, they do the same thing. Investors, they all know each other. All of them on speed dial. And I think that by saying that and the way how it was portrayed in Parliament, it didn't rub a lot of investors right? Because a lot of the investors, they are white people too. So even if you feel that way, I don't think the Parliament was the right and proper channel to outlet that anger that we saw on Friday. All right, it's my personal take on it, guys. But listen, I want to hear everybody's point of view, and we appreciate everyone's contribution. Right? Nobody is wrong for feeling a certain way. I love both sides of the argument, and let's have this argument and this conversation, and let's have it here on the Ride. No problem. Don't forget, guys, we are a program that we open up for everyone. Everyone have a story to tell. We want to hear your story. So if you have anything to say, any story to tell, call us up and book your next chat. Sit down with me right here on the Ride. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Coming up in the next couple weeks, right? I'm going to announce we're going to be having an event here, a park event that we're going to be having here in Brooklyn. It's going to be for families. Barbecue, come out and have a good time. It's going to be a nice harvest here, so look out for that. Okay, we'll give you more information on that in the next couple of days and weeks. What else, guys? Also, if you have a business and you want to advertise, feel free to call us up. We love to promote, advertise, and market your business live here on the Ride. Peace out. Catch me tomorrow. Peace.
Take a look at the world condition and tell me what is really going on. It is true that the devil have a hand. Survival is a hell to brother man. We going the wrong way. Don't you understand? We going the wrong way. I'm singing man to man. We going.
Also, guys, if you need a streaming company, professional streaming company to handle your private events, whether it's a funeral or wedding, I know a lot of you guys getting married. It's summertime. Give RIdealoang family a call today. We care about your privacy. Give us a call for professional video production services. 718-701-5720. Weddings, funeral, baby shower. Stream it live on all platforms or on your own platform. Stream it where only the family would have the ability to watch it, not out in the public. We understand your privacy. So give us a call, 718-701-5720.
We going the wrong way. Don't you understand? We going the wrong way. I'm singing man to man. We going the wrong way. In this wall of corruption. We going the wrong way. Mama, let us try for you.
David Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
My name is Hollis Map, aka Mr. Killer. Why should I drink any other rum than Clark's Court rum? When Clark's Court is the rum that supports my community, my culture, my country. A long time ago, my ancestors used to work in the cane fields. Today, we own the rum, Clark's Court rum, Grenada's #1 rum. But my people, if you drink, don't drive. When you drink responsibly. And if you're under 18, don't drink at all. Clark's Court rum, Grenada's #1 rum.
Are you fed up of your mask or your foggy face shield? Introducing the Fashion Shield from callallpronow.com. Keep your hairdo intact, your makeup flawless, and be fully protected. Get the Fashion Shield now. Call 516-387-4246 or visit callallpronow.com.
Feeling hungry? Grab a snack. Caribbean food delights. Jamaican patties, slide and flaky. Caribbean food delights. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delights. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delights. Quick and easy. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delights.
Oh yeah.